But one day, I was talking about my interest in aviation, and a buddy of mine said, "Hey, I got a guy that actually has an airplane, and I'll put you in touch with him. He's a really good guy. He loves to take people flying." Come to find out, he was a lineman for the local EMC, the power company. And, that kind of got my wheels spinning going, wait a minute, if a guy that works for the local power company can afford to become a pilot and have an airplane, surely there's a way that I can figure this out. And so I reached out to him. He took me on my first flight. And, almost a year later, I had completed my training and had my private pilot's license and ended up buying that exact airplane that I took my first general aviation flight in. So it come full circle. And so I started there just flying, doing the, what you think about, if you look at the YouTube channel, my first series of videos were me and the family or me and friends going flying in our Piper Cherokee. And we hit Milledgeville, we went to Destin, we went to, up North Georgia mountains a couple times and hit those. But it just got to a point where sometimes it's a fault of mine, but I have to admit I get bored real easy. I love a challenge. I like things that challenge me. And I could have pursued an instrument rating or maybe a CFI, and that would have been a challenge. But like a lot of people, I stumbled upon this backcountry aviation thing, and a lot of it was through social media. So people started saying, "Hey man, check out this clip," and you'd watch it and go, "Oh man, that's like having a ATV or a four-wheeler and an airplane combined." Now that's making it, that sticks out to me. So I just started watching that, getting interested in that, and just the whole idea. I like to fish, I like to camp, I like the river, I like being outdoors. And when I started seeing an area where I can mix that and aviation together, man, I was sold. That's exactly what I wanted to do. So the chase was on from there.
Yeah, no, it's just a great story, I think, just because, someone's like, well, I just grew up, my dad was a pilot, all this other stuff, and they just kind of wanted to do it, or they just had easy access to it, so they just had a path laid out in front of them, or it was just something they always wanted to do. So it's just fun to talk to people with a totally different viewpoint and got to the same place and are doing the same things and having a grand old time for different reasons. And I mean, we kind of all get the same place. I mean, which is really cool. I will I want to return to one thing you said about this guy's a lineman and he can afford it, I can afford it. And I think that, anybody, as you've proven, can figure it out, buckle down and figure out, a path to flying an airplane. Maybe it's joining a club, maybe you don't own one, but you just do something in a different way.
Yeah, it really does. And, I never say this as a stab towards anyone, but kind of echoing off what you said is sometimes people have a path that's laid out, and maybe it's an easier path to follow because it's kind of already, if your grandpa was a pilot and your dad was a pilot and there's a airplane that's been in the family for 50 years already at the airport in the hangar waiting on you, it still takes work. I'm not taking away from the dedication those guys put into it, for sure. But for the path that I had to take to get there, which was, I'm a law enforcement officer in the state of Georgia. So I didn't join to become rich. So for my wife and I, when I said, "Hey, honey, this is something I really want to do," I had to have a spouse that was willing to go, "All right, well, we need to figure out what we're going to do to be able to make this happen." Again, I'm blessed enough that my wife was wild enough to come along for the venture.